Alright folks, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy X on the Mysterious JG. If I sound a little annoyed, it's because I just lost a recording session. 2 videos, 1 hour, 7-minute recording session, 2 approximately 30-minute videos. Poof, gone. Rendering failure in Camtasia. So I'm not real happy about that, but it could have been worse. Could have recorded like, longer than that. And I think I'm still going to be able to do what I needed to do. I've got Waka. I had to go to save states instead of save slots because I recorded what I wanted to show you guys, which included when you defeat Nemesis, the Super Monster Arena final boss. It triggers a little scene, a one-time scene, and we saw it, commented, recorded, ended the video, recording got killed. So I thought that I'd blown that by saving. I would have to replay a lot of stuff if I wanted to show you the scene. It really wasn't going to be worth it. But thanks to the magic of saved states, there was me goofing around with Sphere Grid, and I saved before doing something in case it wasn't going to be a good idea. And Bob's your uncle. So stats are a little bit different from the last time you saw. 255 in everything. And that is because this guy, once you unlock, I think it's Ultimate Buster, one of the optional bosses, he starts selling something called the Clear Sphere. There's no big, exciting scene. He just says, oh hey, I've got some new stock, check it out. And when you go to his item shop, he now sells these things for 10,000 gil. And what they do is, if you go into the Sphere Grid and you activate a Clear Sphere, you can choose an adjoining sphere to delete. Everyone's HP just went down by 300 who had activated this thing, their max HP. So why would you do that? You do that, you wouldn't want to do that on something like that one. You'd want to do that on something like, say this one. This one's raised max HP by 200 points. Well, the HP spheres, I don't have any of those, do I? I do have an HP sphere. It changes the nodes into HP plus 300. So if you're really manic about it, you can completely max out your stats to the highest extent possible on the Sphere Grid by finding things like HP plus 200, using a Clear Sphere and an HP Sphere to make it HP plus 300. You don't have to do the same kind of sphere. I was getting rid of, I would have gotten rid of Defense plus 2, maybe put in a Strength plus 4, or a Magic Resistance plus 4, something like that. The point, I got rid of a couple of Luck plus 1 spheres and put in, I think I got rid of several of Luck plus 1 spheres, replaced them with one Luck plus 4 sphere, and then put in different stat boosts in those other slots that were opened up. This is manic. I would not normally get this into it. I'm a little ashamed of myself, and I've never ever done this when just playing through the game myself. This is one of the RPGs that I've played over the years more than once. But in no previous play of this game did I ever go through and mess with Clear Spheres and stat maxing. This is an LP thing. And also has to do with the fact that while I'm in Afghanistan, if I don't have work, I'm just kind of idle, this is one way to kill the time. So I've got the HP limit break thing on, so these guys all have over 20,000 now. If I was willing to sacrifice some stats, I could put in more HP boosters and have their HP be higher than that. I think any build that really advocates breaking the HP limit advocates breaking it by more than I have. There's an item that I can use called Stamina Tonic. I've got 99 of them, almost certainly as a prize for unlocking one of the boss monsters, which doubles the max HP of the party. So as long as I'm using these guys, I can take a single turn and have my HP go up to 40,000 max. But it's only good until you get killed. So, like, if your character gets killed and you revive them with Phoenix down, they come back with the same HP max as before. So I really don't find that exciting. Although I've got 99 of them, I could use them all day long. But for most of the super bosses, I set up 2 different sets of armor. for my 3 stat max characters who will be fighting the super bosses. I've got one with auto haste, auto phoenix, auto protect, and auto potion, and I've got a different one that has break HP limit and ribbon. Ribbon in this game works like the ribbon item in Final Fantasy VI. It protects you from all status ailments, except that it doesn't, because it doesn't protect you from curse and death, which is kind of like treated as a status effect in this game because you apply it to weapons and defend against it on armors the same way by using items to either add death to the attack or to protect against death on the defense. Ribbon doesn't protect against curse or death, so it's kind of annoying in that respect. But it does mean that with one slot you have curse proof, confuse proof, berserk proof, dark proof, silence proof, poison proof, stone proof, the biggies. Well, some of the biggies. And that's handy. In retrospect, I wish I hadn't put break HP limit on these, because ribbon, I got ribbons for Titus and Yuna. Couldn't get one for Waka. Gave him stone proof instead. Because getting ribbon was a huge pain in the ass. You get 99 ribbons for unlocking one of the boss creatures. And I had already gotten my way up to 99 by getting rare drops from boss monsters that I was fighting for other items. But the idea of getting a third one of those would just be many hours of additional grinding, and all I would be doing it for would be to get another ribbon armor. I kind of wish I hadn't put ribbon and break HP limit on the same thing, because as I've played with it, I found a break HP limit to be kind of a waste of a slot, because it's very difficult to keep your HP maxed. I think I talked about this before. I read about this, and I kind of confirmed it for myself. Very difficult to keep your HP maxed. Most attacks that can kill... an attack can kill your entire party at 99 hit points and max defense, then you need to summon an Aeon to avoid it or use auto life to bring your characters back afterwards anyway. Because this is very difficult to keep your HP topped up past 9999. You might have that many potential HP, but your actual HP your characters have are going to keep being knocked down. And it's just important to have auto haste and auto protect on your armor, because when you get killed and brought back, you'll automatically have them. And I've started to find out that you don't get nearly as many turns when you don't have auto haste on, because a lot of enemy attacks will actually knock back your turn order, and you're immune to that status with haste. So there are a couple of enemies against who have a lot of status attacks, and we'll need to use ribbon or stoneproof for Waka is the best I can manage. Because there's a couple of Dark Aeons who use an attack that turns your character to stone and then kills them instantly. The same way Petrification kills you instantly in an underwater battle, it can kill you instantly against certain Dark Aeons. There's no real reason for it. You just get turned to stone and shatter instead of just turning to stone. It all happens on the same turn. We had that one boss battle with Seymour where he turns you to stone, and then his creature, Mortibody, whatever, attacks that creature that attacks the party member who's been stoned, and that's supposed to be shattering. But that's like, it takes 2 turns. You have a chance to defend. You don't against the Dark Aeons. It's very irritating. And you don't get to replace that character in that order either. Like, Waka gets killed that way, Riku or Lulu can't come in and replace him. It doesn't really make sense, but they're just trying to make the boss battles more difficult. So I've got 2 different sets of armor, but we're going to go back to the one which just has 999 HP. And I'm going to make sure that I got the ultimate weapons equipped. And we are going to fight a couple of monsters. Now, I've unlocked everything here. And on this particular save slot, I haven't beaten Nemesis yet. But I've beaten everything else. This is a bit of a spoiler, but that's like the last area where monsters were. Most of these monsters we fought in other places. Some of them anyway. Demonolith, Great Marlborough. We just had to, they're associated with this last area, which I won't say the name of, just in case somebody's not reading the screen, but it's a spoiler of the last bit of plot. I went ahead and off-screened ahead in the story just so that I can unlock the last section of Monster Arena, because I really would like to finish the Monster Arena stuff before we do the last section of plot. I'd like the entire battle with Sin to be a series of plot videos that end the LP. But everything else, a Mega Dungeon, Mount Gagazet, I've captured 10 of everything, which means I've unlocked all the area conquest things. These are all, to a man, or woman, or Tonberry, palette swaps of other monsters in the game. The Stratoavis is the big bird from the beginning. Like, remember at the beginning of the game, there was this wacky scene where Titus thought Waka should fight it because it's a flyer, and Waka's like, I don't think so, yeah, and then calls in Yuna, and she uses a summon against it. And we saw that palette swaps of that thing later on, flying around in the Mushroom Rock and Snubia Desert. Marlboro Menace is the Marlboro Super Boss, and because Species Conquest, these are palette swaps of common enemies, and they're like super powered up. Area Conquests are a little bit easier actually, but these are generally palette swaps of enemies that are either more powerful or there aren't that many examples of them in the game. Like there's not that many species of the Big Bird. There's only 2 Marlboros, the Marlboros and the Great Marlboro. So the Marlboro Menace is just basically it's a Marlboro with shitloads of hit points. It always attacks on the first turn unless you've got initiative, and it uses something called Putrid Breath instead of Bad Breath. It does damage in addition to status ailments, but the damage is nothing compared to the status ailments. It's basically just a souped up Marlboro. Coral Regina is the coral enemy. I forget what some of these are. Cactuar King is just a Cactuar. It doesn't even look different. It's not even a huge Cactuar like Jumbo Cactuar from Final Fantasy VIII. It's just a regular Cactuar. But it's got insanely high stats, so it's difficult to hit, and whatever. So I'm not going to bother to show you these because Abyss Worm is just a different version of the giant worm from the desert. The mystery of the desert. And there is a palette swap of the worm that we can fight in the last area of the game. It's beyond the point of no return, though. Like, there comes a point where you can no longer backtrack to here. You have to finish the game if you go past this point. And these other worm enemies spawn there, so they can't make you capture them for monster arena purposes. Species Conquests. Fenrir is the ultimate wolf. Onatholos, this is the ultimate lover. No, I don't remember what it is. I think it's the ultimate, like, little newt guy. And Hornet's the ultimate wasp guy. One Eye's the ultimate flyer with one eye who confuses. Jumbo Flan's the ultimate flan. He's completely immune to physical damage, which makes him kind of more interesting than some of these bosses. Sleep Sprout's the ultimate mushroom. It's a real pain in the ass. Because like everything you do to it triggers a counter attack where it inflicts sleep and poison and all this stuff. Like, you can't even steal from it without triggering this, and it affects all. But it's got very few hit points by the standards of these other enemies. Mega Elemental. Juggernaut, bitch! Yeah, these guys are all not really worth seeing. Other than Ironclad, I don't know if we've even seen that character sprite, but the others we've all seen. And we'll get a chance to fight something with that character sprite in the last area of the game. The originals are mostly palette swaps of bosses. Earth Eater we've seen, that's Chocobo Eater. Greater Sphere we've seen, it's that Spheromorph guy. I forget what Catastrophe, Thuban, and are, but they are previous bosses that we've already defeated. Catastrophe, I think, is that weird shelled thing that we fight right before we go into the temple at Kilika. Ultima Buster, despite its name, you'd think it was a palette swap with the ultimate weapon, but it's actually a palette swap of that Sin Spawn creature that you fight once and defeat, and then you have to fight it again using a party of Yuna, Orin, and Seymour. It's that guy. Shouldn't use the underwater fight with that dragon all over again, which means it's the only of these super boss fights where you're forced to use a specific party. You have to use Waka, Titus, and Riku, which really I thought might make things difficult since I haven't power leveled Riku to the same extent as Waka and Titus, but it didn't really make a difference. And then Nemesis, the ultimate male, the ultimate lover, the ultimate enemy, I should say. So I'm not going to fight all of these, because I've already beaten them all up off camera to gather items, and with the really powered up stat max party, all of these guys are pushovers, except for really Nemesis, who is supposed to be the ultimate toughest final boss you can fight in Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X International version added a few things, but Nemesis was originally the toughest boss in the game. I will only fight one of these enemies, other than Nemesis, and I will fight this enemy because it is the only unique sprite in the monster arena. This enemy type shows up in Final Fantasy X2 for like a boss, but this is its first appearance, its only appearance in Final Fantasy X. So we're going to go ahead and fight Neslug. Although there's something I need to do first. I've got auto potion set up, so I'm going to sell my high potions, so that when they use auto potion, they will use an X potion. That's not important against Neslug, but it will be important against Nemesis. So Neslug, I'm just showing you so you can see what it looks like, basically. Nemesis, on the other hand, is meant to be the toughest boss fight in the game, so even with maxed out characters, you do need to be prepared. Be prepared. See ya. So, I'm not going to even use overdrives against him. Just going to use quick hits. So, out of curiosity, I'll mug him and see what he's carrying. It's Gambler's Spirit. Those are useful for something, I forget what. Probably need them to get AP to overdrive or something like that. As you can see, he has a lot of hit points. But when we've got our agility maxed out and have haste applied, he gets very few turns. I don't remember, did we get a preemptive strike against him, or do you really just get this many attacks in a row before he's allowed to act? It is going to take a lot of attacks to defeat this guy, though. As you can imagine how frustrating a fight this would be if your characters were not maxed out in power, and would do, or if you didn't have break damage limit. You need, so far, we haven't even defeated him yet, you need 10 times as many attacks to do as much damage as we've currently done. So some of the super bosses are not that difficult to survive against, they've just got so many hit points that you'll be at it all day if you don't have a maxed out character. So he's finally going to attack, let's see what he's got. Oh. Okay, normally he does get a chance to attack, but this time it did so much damage he went into his defensive mode. This guy has a defensive mode, where he just, after you've done a certain amount of damage, he goes inside of his shell. He's got regen on, so he's getting health back every turn. If I try to attack him, he's immune, and he gets back 30,000 hit points. He's immune while he's in this posture. Even though to me it doesn't look like any more or less of his body is exposed than was before, he is now theoretically in his shell, so you can't hurt him with physical attacks. Let's hope magical attacks will work. I say as though I don't know the answer. And of course magical attacks work, because if they didn't work, what are you supposed to use, like, attack items against them? Petrify grenades? Come on. They gotta give you some way to hurt this thing. It's not a plot battle you have to lose, it's an optional battle that wouldn't be there if you weren't supposed to be able to win it with a certain amount of difficulty. Now the fun thing is, since all these guys have copycats, since all three of these guys have all the skills, I don't have to spend 180 magic points every single time, or in Yuna's case, 2, to double cast Ultima. Oh, no, sorry. Don't double cast, just do copycat. The only problem I have with double casting Ultima is that for LP purposes, and when I'm a little bit worried about how long I let this video recording session go, since I just lost one, that animation does make the fight take a little bit longer. It's not as over the top as the one, or time consuming, at least it doesn't seem like it is as time consuming as the one from 8. Ultimate animation really seemed to take forever on that game. And somehow none of them have been as cool to me as the first Ultima animation I saw, which is the one from 6. Or just goes... No particular reason I didn't understand why this sort of blue stripedy gumball appearing and expanding in size would, like, kill anything, but I do remember being terrified of it when I finally defeated Magimaster, and suddenly this attack comes up, and I'm like, holy shit, am I gonna survive this? No. So, yeah, this guy seems like, more than anything else, he's a stumbling block where the game just won't let you get past him unless you can deal shitloads of damage. Now, he hasn't attacked yet. Now, the recording session that I lost, he did get at least one attack off. and it was against a single character. It did very little damage because of how high the defensive stats are on these guys and because auto protect is applied. But against weaker characters, I'm sure it would have been a one-hit KO. But it was only attacking one character at a time. So really, the big challenge with this guy is that if he does that thing, or he gets in his shell and gets regen, doing 30,000 plus, basically this means that if you can't break HP limit, or damage limit, if you can only hit for 9,999 hit damage per turn, then regardless of how patient you are and how careful you are in avoiding his attacks so that you don't run out of healing and can just keep attacking him all day, you just won't be able to defeat him. That's basically what it is. He's designed to be unbeatable until you have break damage limit. You thought he was finished, didn't you? No, we still gotta keep going. I'm gonna switch to quick attacks just because it's faster, not because Ultima will stop working on him now. I believe Ultima will still work, but... And it's fun to me now that Yuna can do 99,999 damage by running up to something and hitting it with her staff. But that's because I've got it in my mind that she's not a physical damage character. Wakka is a physical damage character. Every strategy guide on beating the ultimate bosses assumes you're going to use Wakka because he has the best damage output with his overdrive of any character in the game. And yet his attack is arguably the most ridiculous physical attack in the game, other than Lulu's. You can't really compete with Lulu for ridiculousness of physical attack, but making fun of Yuna for hitting something with a staff and doing lots of damage versus making fun of him for throwing a ball at something, I don't know. I've been suckered into the game. I just had this idea that Yuna shouldn't be doing physical damage. Anyway, it's dead, and it never got to attack. It did get to attack last time. Its physical attack inflicted confused status on Wakka, which was quickly remedied with Asuna before he got a turn, so that was fine. But yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. Talk to that save sphere just to get my health back, and 22 minutes. Instead of trying to record 2 videos before cutting off the session, I'm just going to record one, slightly long one, and what we're going to do is we're going to finish off the Monster Arena for good by destroying a palette swap of the boss who I haven't even got to see because I haven't done the Omega Dungeon. I have to remember to do that. And I'll have to do it not using these maxed out characters because it would just be silly. If Wakka goes up against the Omega weapon, he could defeat it by himself. Wakka could probably defeat it by himself before it got off an attack. So I'll have to use a different save slot where my characters aren't super leveled so that those fights against Omega weapon and Ultimate weapon aren't just silly. But even Nemesis, the final ultimate boss, is not a unique sprite. For some reason, Neslug, who didn't even get to attack, got to be the ultimate as far as being its own unique sprite. Nemesis, on the other hand, is just a sprite palette swap, but he is the toughest enemy in Final Fantasy X, non-international, just regular old Final Fantasy X. So what have we got? We've got Auto Potion, Auto Protect, Auto Haste, and Auto Phoenix. One of the reasons I'm annoyed about losing that last recording session, I ended up beating him in a separate video from Neslug because I took longer just talking. So the next Neslug video lasted a few minutes longer. But it went very smoothly. We got to see all of his best attacks, so nothing was left out. But his most damaging attacks, I managed to evade using Aeons with exactly the right timing. It just went really smoothly. And I made it look pretty easy, and I was quite happy with how it came out. So it may or may not go quite that well this time. But, things to know before we get started. I'm told that if you use special skills on him, like Jinx or Steel, he responds with Ultima. He responds with Ultima, and I don't waste a lot of turns stealing from him. You can mug him, and he won't. If you steal from him, he will. It's weird. I don't waste a lot of turns stealing from him anyway. If you use overdrives on him, he auto-responds, doesn't take a turn, same as with Greater Sphere, he auto-responds with Ultima. Although Greater Sphere didn't auto-respond. Ultima responded with something else, but, whatever. As you can see... Well, you know what? Hold on. Do a quick save. just going to show you what happens if you use somebody else to fight him. Orin's stats are pretty high, but they're much lower than these guys, because I haven't leveled them. He did 9,400 damage. I'm surprised he even hit it, frankly. I was going to showcase that its evade stat's supposed to be through the roof. Lulu was able to hit it, though. Riku actually can break the HP limit. That's pretty cool for her. And Kamari can learn Nova. Here comes Ultima. So I have to remember to get Kamari to learn that, because I think on the safe slot I'll be using against the Dark Aeons. I've already defeated Omega Weapon and didn't learn it from Omega Weapon. But there you see, automatic death for the whole party. Hanging around with my enemies, have myself a party. Sorry, it's actually my family. Okay, but I just loaded because, yes, Ultima killed that whole party dead. And that was because he used Lancet on it, which I guess counts as a special. Let's go with these guys, and let's go with attack reels, and I need to not screw up the timing on attack reels. Excuse me, by virtue of the fact that I was doing all this talking, I was having a much lower success rate with the attack reels timing than I was having off camera. As you can see, attack reels, Korok reels actually do damage and afflict statuses sometimes, but Nemesis, like any super boss worth his salt, is immune to statuses, ailments, so attack reels are the way to go. But I've got auto potion, and I've gotten rid of all my lesser potions, which means everybody uses X potions when they get knocked down critical, which means that as long as they don't die outright, and since I'm not using break HP limit, all of my characters will be fully recovered every single time they get hit. For, you know, enough damage to take them down to critical, and pretty much everything this guy does is going to knock them down to critical in this game is less than 50%, really, so. And now I will use Titus's Overdrive, which is not as good as Waka's, but it still does pretty good damage. And in fact, once you've maxed everyone's stats out, the only difference between characters is their overdrives. Although I still think of them in different ways, and like let my strategies sometimes are, you know, based on how I'm used to thinking of the characters. At this point, Waka, Titus, and Yuna are identical. Have identical output, damage outputs with different kinds of attacks. There's no point in making Yuna double cast Ultima and making Titus attack. You can switch them up quite easily. Although Yuna has 1 MP cost in her ultimate weapon, so it does make it a little bit of a difference, but yeah. The point is the overdrives are the only thing to separate them. Now, I just felt like you couldn't do an ultimate party without Yuna. A, because the game's really about Titus and Yuna, so you sort of should both be in there, but B, she summons Aeons, and Aeons are good as sacrificial lambs against super bosses. But really, beyond that, it just comes down to whose overdrives you like. I love Lulu as a character. Well, love is a strong word. I like Lulu as a character. I hate her overdrive, so she's out. Kamari's overdrive, he has lots of different overdrives he can use, but really they all kind of suck for him. It's sad but true. Because all of even his best overdrives are generally one hit of big, massive damage, which means that once you've got characters maxed out like this, he can't do as much damage as Titus or Waka because all of his overdrives are like one hit. Maybe Seed Cannon? I hadn't thought about that. Maybe Seed Cannon, once his stats are maxed, becomes super devastating, but I don't know, even that's a one-hit one. It's not the same as the monster one. The monster Seed Cannon. But yeah, Titus can do more than one hit, but it appears that the damage per hit, I don't know how it's calculated by the game, but it reduces the damage per hit by more than it does with Waka's, because Waka, if you line up attack reels times 2 perfectly, he gets, I believe, 12 full strength attacks in one. Because it's 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6, and then when you line them up, it doubles it. So he can do 12 attacks in one turn with his overdrive, and it does not appear to me, at least, that there's any significant damage reduction. It's not like Lulu, whose hits of her spells are reduced to 50% damage in the Fury overdrive. And I don't know if other people have a better technique, but I find it really hard to get more than 5 or 6 hits. So it's really like she's getting 2 or 3 turns, whereas Waka's getting like 12 turns worth of damage. And I blew it. I thought I had it at the end there. Oh well. Titus just doesn't have the damage output potential of Waka anyway, so I'm frustrated when I miss an overdrive, but I'm very frustrated if I blow one of Waka's. And Yuna appears to pull potions out of her rack, which is just ridiculous to me. Ah, crap. See what I told you? I get frustrated. Now he'll only get 4. 2 for the first slot, 2 for the second slot, nothing for the third slot, and then no multiplier because he didn't line up 3 of the same. I'm not sure if you line up 1, 1, 1, I don't know if you get 3 or 6. But of course I always aim for 2, 2, 2. And as you've probably started to think yourselves, if you're not already familiar with the strategy of fighting super bosses and using auto potion, I am going to be in real danger of running out of X potions. On my last video I ran through just about 30. It'd be a good way for you to track how much longer this fight's going to go if I've been counting my X potion usage. But yes, one of the more annoying things about fighting these super bosses is, with this strategy, is you do, between fights, need to acquire more X potions, which you do using the bribe command. It's not really that difficult. But. Okay, why did I summon an Aeon here? Because he's got a turn coming up, and he might go for something that will auto-kill my party, and I just realized that I didn't cast Auto-Life on them, which is a pretty big mistake, and I need to rectify that soon. Anima's stats scrolled up with Yuna's, so it's quite powerful now, but it will still probably get killed before it could get off 2 attacks. So I'm just going to go ahead and use its overdrive to get as much damage in off it as I can, and then I'll sacrifice it to the next attack from Nemesis. And if it somehow does survive, I can cast haste on it. Maybe I'll be able to get a few turns out of it, but it's not real likely. As you see, I've got just short animations on, which is particularly silly looking with that overdrive. It's like you just cut to him suddenly being delivered the final blow. So he's going to eat an Ultima, because Aeon overdrives count as overdrives, which means that he does respond to them automatically with Ultima without using his turn. That will not be enough to kill Anima, even close. Now it gets a physical, which doesn't kill him either. Oh, man. I wanted him to use one of his super-powered attacks. Because that was basically... There are people who know this thing's patterns well enough to predict it very, very well. But I don't really understand its pattern that well, except that it usually... Maybe every other turn or every 3 turns or so it'll do something really devastating. So I guess I'll summon the Maggot Sisters. I'll summon the Maggot Sisters. Or I'll summon the Scissor Sisters. I'll summon the Maggot Sisters and let them eat its most powerful attack, then. I really do hope we get a chance to see all of its most powerful attacks. At this point, it really hasn't done any of them. Combine your power with your powers combined. Water Twin powers activated. We'll get the short form of Delta attack. And that's, you just saw what makes attack reels so awesome. Nothing will allow me to do more than 99,999 damage per hit. So once you've got your characters maxed, the number of hits they deliver becomes critical. And Delta attack, I'm sure a long time ago, Yuna had a high enough magic stat that it was doing 99,999 damage per hit. Which means that at one point it was far, far more powerful than Wonka's overdrives. There's one of the attacks I was hoping that you'd get a chance to see. And here's the other one! So it did absorb two of the nastiest attacks. Or they did absorb two of the nastiest attacks. Do as you will. Yes! I was hoping that Mindy would get restored, but I probably won't live long enough to do anything. Yeah, that one where just shot a cannon blast at Mindy, that will KO one of your party members generally, if you don't have like max MP, whatever. Sato, oh damn it, you're supposed to do Sato. Auto life, it's not a bad choice. I would have brought back Sandy, but... But that thing it did where it shot at all of them, that will wipe out your whole party. Yeah. I'll cast auto life on her again, why don't you? Passato, damn it! It just keeps using physical attacks against the character who's been auto-lifed. This might take a while. But I can just do the do that again thing, and as long as it... Oh no, she does auto-life again, but she doesn't necessarily cast it on the same character. And I don't know why she won't do Passato, but... This is the other big move you guys need to see. This will wipe out your party no matter what. Using break HP limit to boost your HP, and then adding a bunch of defensive stuff, and not worrying about auto haste or whatever. No, this is still going to kill you. Although Cindy came back. There we go. This is going to take forever. Yeah, the Maga Sisters are really being a major pain in his ass. Yeah, if he kills Cindy, it's over. Mindy has no ability to recover the other sisters, so this will be it. Hopefully she will get a Passato in before it's over. Nope, taking a break. That wasn't very smart. It's like, you know what? I was going to take it easy. I think we got this well in hand. Well, maybe not. It's not like I expected the Maga Sisters to win, but that was interesting. So we got to see all of his best attacks eaten by the Maga Sisters. No, I'm gonna make him do an overdrive. Yuna can cast auto life on him. She has the least damage output since she doesn't really have an overdrive that I use for damage purposes. I just use it for sacrificial lamb purposes. But those big attacks, the whatever cannon, the ultra spark, and then Armageddon, those are basically his big damage numbers. Naturally, the one that only affects one party member is the least dangerous of them. And if you've got break HP limit, you can survive an attack from that Ultra Spark thing. But, yeah, there's really nothing you can do against Armageddon except have auto life on all of your party members, or make sure that an Aeon eats the attack instead of your party. And I've had it before where I thought I had auto life on my characters and the game still ended with a attack that hit everybody. So I always am a little nervous about relying on auto life working. Certainly I remember in Final Fantasy VI, Life 3, I never could quite tell when it was applied and when it wasn't. It just didn't seem like it always worked. You would cast it on all of your party members, maybe it wore off after a while, but like I mentioned, Magimaster, you cast Ultima, you've got Life 3 has been cast on all 4 party members or all 5 party members, and then it was like 4 in that game, wasn't it? Yeah. And then somehow 2 or 3 of the 4 come back at the end, and they don't all come back. But we've absorbed his absolute worst attacks. He will continue to throw them out there. He can only do Armageddon periodically. He can't do that like every freaking turn. so we don't have to worry about that popping up again for another couple of turns, but you can do Ultra Spark any old time, and that will pretty much kill my party. That's probably the best thing he could have done for us, as far as not being that dangerous to me. But on his next attack, he'll probably do something much nastier, so I need to be prepared to summon on Yuna's final turn before he gets a turn. And this is part of what takes away the tension in this game, is you can plan ahead to that. It's like, okay, I get another Tidus attack, another Yuna, another Waka, another Tidus, and then on Yuna's turn, I need to summon. You know, you can plot. You've got plenty of time to think about it. You have to rush. If you try to defeat Nemesis, don't rush. And he used to talk like Bosun. So I think I'm going to win this one. As I recorded my other battle with him in the video that was lost, I was worried about X potions, and how quickly I was going through them. But it would appear that if you just keep, which is why you can't just spend lots of time trying to boost your own defense by using cheer or focus or whatever, and trying to become really extra defensible. No, you have to hurry up and win, and that's why, because you're gonna run out of the healing potions that actually can bring you back. But you've got plenty if you just keep on the offense. That comments I'd been making on, already mentioned in this video, Let's Watch Red play Kingdom Hearts. Well, I'd commented on Let's Watch Red play Legend of Dragoon that, oh, you know, I think you should have less turns healing and just go on offense more. The battles are taking too long. And there's this kind of a little snarky comment there in a later video. It's like, well, you've gotten some advice, some from people who've actually played the game. And I was like, hey, if you guys are playing a platformer, and I suggest you should stop running off the ledge and jump instead of falling to your death, would you come back and tell me you haven't played this specific platformer? Anyway, I guess I'll grand summon Vomit so he can actually do some damage. It's not like Yuna's overdrive meter won't be refilled very quickly. If anyone's curious, I've got all of their overdrive set to Comrade. I could have it on Stoic, but I figure that way if Vomit doesn't attack to one character, that two people's overdrive meters will fill. I think it fills somewhat. I don't know which one in the long run is going to be a faster way to boost your overdrive, but both Stoic and Comrade lead to quite a lot of overdrive boosting against somebody who does as much damage as Ultimate Weapon does. I mean, Nemesis. Once again, this won't kill the Aeon, but when Nemesis does get some attacks off, they almost certainly will. The aerial cannon, this will kill him. I'm always kind of hoping for Ultra Spark. That's the one that would really wipe my, do some serious damage to my party. So I always feel a little better if I realize I've managed to avoid that. But Ultra Spark would have killed one party member probably. Funny, I only get one attack with each one. Before its next turn, I'm not sure how the timing on that worked out this way. Now we're going over 40. See, I had recorded two nice little 30-minute videos and lost the session, so now I'm going to have one that goes probably over 45. But hopefully I'll be able to actually get that video to take. First try. Overkill! Nice. So you got to see all of its attacks at least once. That's nice. That went pretty smoothly, I must say. Although, just because of the timing of it. What a nitpicky thing for me to be complaining about, but now I'm like, oh man, I won, but all their overdrive meters aren't full. Shut up, Gigi. You just defeated the toughest boss in the original game. Although there'll be a lot left to do to face the super bosses of International version. Here's a little scene that I went all the trouble to show you. You've beaten my mightiest beast? What extraordinary power! Yes, extraordinary power indeed. Alright, from now on, you shall be known as the one who conquered all. You will be known as the undefeated beast. I never imagined that my mightiest creation could be defeated. Yes, truly remarkable. I can't find any other way to express it. And like, most of your party members don't react at all. Riku does, but... Oh, it's up to defeat Sid. I have faith in you, Sonny. If your party members, I don't care about them. There won't be any new fiends, but you can still battle them anytime, and Orange like scratches the chin. Feel free to come back whenever you wish to train. Yuna's like disappointed, Waka's like rubbing the back of his head, all because you'll all, of course, need to pay for it though, ha ha ha. Oh, you wacky Monster Arena guy. Anyway, that's it for this video, another 45-minute video. Hey, it wasn't as long as the freaking butterfly video, or the desert, the mystery of the desert, and Riku's God Hand video, so that's nice. But we're done with the Monster Arena, forever. If you guys really are like, hey, I want to see what Thuban is, I can go back and fight any of these Monster Arena bosses you really, really want to see, but probably not going to, because by the time this video is posted, I'll have finished recording the entire LP, in part because of the fact that at the moment, it's been several days since I've been able to upload anything, and by upload, I mean send it to Bobo to upload, because of internet, but whatever. That's it for Nemesis. If this was Final Fantasy X, I'd be pretty much out of, you know, time-killing, life-wasting stuff to do as far as grinding. I can go back and show you guys the Omega Dungeon, the last actual dungeon in the game, where there's actual little bits of dialogue, voice-acted dialogue, very small snippets of voice-acted dialogue, but there actually is voice-acted dialogue when you clear the Omega Dungeon, so I can show you guys that, not using this party because it would be stupid. And of course I got to show you guys the Dark Aeons, and then I'll have to defeat Pennance, which is the souped-up ultimate boss of Final Fantasy X International. All of this will happen before we finally return to the story, which we will do, you know, eventually. Anyway, hope you guys stick with me. If you really aren't interested in watching the ultimate bosses get defeated, or the Dark Aeons or whatever, I'm sure that if you just pay attention to the names of the videos as they come out, it will be obvious when we get back to the story, and you can skip videos of just me fighting souped-up bosses. But hope you do stick with it, and I hope to see you next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy X on the Mysterious JG. So long. Bye-bye.